everybody. It's me, Mickie Giacomini, your host of Let's Talk Shop, Real Estate and More. Tonight, I'm very excited to bring to you an amazing expert. He is a home inspector and he knows all the reasons why you need a home inspection when you're buying or selling a home. Okay? That's why we're all here. We're going to learn from him. He's amazing. His name's Tim Coddington, and I'm bringing him in right now. Hey, Tim, how are you?
Hey, Mickie, I am just great, and it's great to be on your show today. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're super excited to have you.
So,
hey, tell us, what in the world is a home inspection, first of all? For those people out there that have no idea what that is, please help us understand a little bit more about what a home inspection is.
Oh, well, like a home inspection is a view of the home. But, when talking about home inspections, it's a non-destructive, just visual. So we don't tear things apart at all. We do take the cover off the electrical panel and look inside there to make sure everything's safe there. Yeah. It's a non-destructive. We're not code enforcement people. We don't know the code, and we're not trying to keep things up to code.
Right.
But we're just trying to keep things safe. That's the main thing. And we'll have safety items on our report, and we'll have consideration items on our reports.
Fantastic. One of the things that I'm always recommending to all my clients, whether they are buying a home or even selling a home, is that they need to get a home inspection. So could you please share with our viewers out there why they need to get a home inspection? Why is that so important, regardless of buying or selling?
Well, first, a little bit of history on how home inspections have been moving throughout society. Back in the day of early automobiles, you would not worry too much about getting an inspection on an automobile that you were going to buy. But nowadays, it's very important that you take it to a mechanic and have the mechanic look at it. The same thing's happening with homes here. Back in the day, 50 years ago, many people, maybe even most, didn't even have a home inspection. But as time progresses, we're finding more and more homes that are being inspected. Now it's over 80%. And I know that in the Bay Area, there's even almost all of the homes get pre-inspections. And that's moving out around the country too as time progresses. I'd expect to see that in the future because, when you have a home inspection, it makes a deal go so smoothly. But
right.
It brings peace of mind to people because once you know what's in a home, you know what you're dealing with. You can't have people wondering what's behind those walls.
Exactly. It's called the transparency factor, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And it really builds confidence between agents and buyers and sellers.
Yep.
So that way a deal, it elucidates the deal, makes sure that everybody knows what they're buying and what they're selling. Let's see. No surprises are going to be found. Expectations are set for the buyers and the sellers and the agents. And there's already mentioned peace of mind being built in.
And that's a huge, huge part of it, right? Because what I've noticed, if you don't mind me adding a couple of my 2 cents, if you will, I think that peace of mind is really important. If I am a buyer or for my buyer clients, when I know that a home has had an inspection, I've gotten a home inspection on the house that I am looking to buy, I know what I'm buying then. I have a much better idea than what I could personally see because we have somebody like you, an expert, who's really actually going in and really taking a strong look at the home and picking it apart in a way where it helps us to see, okay, oh, we missed that because we're not experts. We don't know all those ins and outs. And then on the other side of it, I often and always recommend to my seller clients that they get a home inspection. And I'm going to circle back to that in just a few moments. But again, that comes back to that whole transparency factor. So
You're
what are
exactly
go
oh,
ahead.
you're exactly right about that. And I did inspect one new home, and typical at the end, the person who had owned the home and was getting the inspection was just said over and over again, you looked for things that I didn't even think of looking for. And he was very glad he got his home inspection. His 1 year warranty on his new home was coming up, and he wanted to make sure that the builder paid for any strange things. And I found some strange things.
Oh, I bet. And so that you hit on something that a lot of people don't realize. So even if you buy a new build and you do have that home warranty coming due pretty soon, it is a really great idea to get a home inspection, even if you've been in the home for a while, because that way you know what to bring to the builder's attention to make sure that they get that fixed before that warranty is up.
Every home has flaws. There's not a
Right.
building out there that I'm convinced that doesn't have flaws. For instance, in a new building, they'll put up a evaporator system, and they'll put it on soft ground, and over the year it'll tilt. I see about a third of the new homes that I've been inspecting where their evaporator has tilted.
Tell me more about that.
Well, just the ground settles, and when it tilts, the motor is not it's not aligned flatly with the ground. So being tilted a little bit, it wears on one side of the bearings, and it could wear
Oh.
that motor out faster.
Oh, okay. So that's a good tip, everybody. So another reason why you need a home inspection.
One other thing is we go places clients don't.
Hmm.
We try to when there's a basement or crawl space to go into, we be sure and crawl it all. Yes, yes, spiders and all. I've
I know.
seen some big dead animals down there. And I wouldn't expect a client to come down in there, but I guess I would have to if it were my home, because I am a home inspector.
Right?
But we check
Oh,
for
that's
any.
not something I want to do. Oh, no, thank you.
It can get a little bit. It can get a little bit disconcerting, especially when you're afraid that that pipe is low enough where you can't get through, and if you do get through, maybe you can't get back out.
Oh, no.
It, but you always get back out.
Let's
You
hope.
just worry about it.
Oh, I don't like the whole spiders and other critters and so forth that could be in those crawl spaces. And that is why I'm a realtor, not a home inspector.
Well, aces in their places. I know you're a really good job. You're really good at what you do, and I try to do the best for my clients that's possible.
Right? Together, we're a great team.
Well, yes, and it does take teamwork to do this. We also will go into attics where lots of
Mhm.
times a homeowner won't go. Uh,
Yeah.
Now at BPG, our insurance is such that we try not to go off any planking that's already up there,
Mm,
because we don't want to step through any ceilings and cause any
sure.
problems. It's a non-destructive adventure there. Not we don't want to destroy anything,
Right.
but we can pretty
Absolutely.
much observe for any stains on the attic in the attic there from, mostly you can even do it just by sticking your head up and shining your flashlight around real carefully. But we
Right.
walk what we can.
But and of course, you know what you're looking for when you're doing that. So
Yes.
whereas most of my clients would not know what to look for. We could pick out certain obvious glaring things, right? But you know exactly what you're looking for. You know what typically is found in an attic or a crawl space or wherever, behind the electrical panel and all of that. That's why you're the expert.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I probably should go over some of the basic systems that we do investigate.
Sure,
We look
sure.
at the roof.
What all do you look at?
Well, we look at the roof. We're not roof inspectors, but we do look at the roof. We don't generally crawl on a tile roof because although people do crawl on tile roofs and it's safe if you know how, our company doesn't like us doing that because, we can be blamed for stuff that's broken that we were never near.
Right, right.
And, but we can decide if you need a roof inspector. So we're a generalist, a roof inspector, or a pest and dry rot person.
Yes.
They're a very specific person and they have a different skill set. And they're very good, impressive people too.
Yeah.
It
Would
does.
would that be the same for also like sewer and plumbing?
Yes.
Specialist for, okay.
In a home older than 50 years, it's always important to get a sewer lateral. And we do have a subcontractor that does that. I think it's $189 and it can save you, $20,000 bill.
Right.
It can save you a lot of money.
Again, that's another reason why you need a home inspection.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. What other things do you check out?
Well, we check the walls. The worst thing that can happen to a home is you can have moisture intrusion. That's why we check the roof and the walls, and those are most important. And make sure that there's, we look for signs of moisture damage. And if there's too many of them, we'll say, hey, maybe you should have a pest inspector come out. Now, that's a little bit of a misnomer. A pest inspector isn't just looking for ants and ticks and fireflies and things like that. He's looking for moisture damage. Sure. And they can actually write up estimates of how much something like that would cost.
Yeah, we're talking mold, mildew, fungus, that sort of thing.
Well, they usually don't look for mold. We can say there's a discoloration that may be mold, but in order to have a mold test, you actually have to collect very specific samples and send them out to a lab. I've been trained on mold, but I don't have the equipment for it.
There you go. We just sometimes have to put two and two together.
Going from top to bottom, we also look at the foundation. We look to see, we don't inspect sprinkler systems unless there's a few bucks added. But if there's a sprinkler valve near a foundation, well, I'm going to take a look at that because if it's dripping moisture, it might over time affect that foundation. I'm going to want to evaluate that. We also look at plumbing. We get your water pressure. We look and see, what kind of pipes you have. If it's an old home, maybe you should be concerned about having galvanized piping that's being rotted through. And then, of course, we look at electrical. I check every outlet that I can. And lots of times there's stuff with customers, a home with customers' belongings in them. Or maybe they're in the process of moving out, so the garage is absolutely full. I'll test every outlet that I can reach.
That's accessible. So that's a tip, people. When you have your home inspection, move everything away from the outlet so they can be checked.
Yes, and make a clear path in the garage so that we can test the automatic reversing mechanisms, because that is another thing we will be wanting to test. Make sure that the garage door has no damage. Make sure that it reverses automatically. Make sure the little garage lighting system comes on when the button's pressed.
Right.
You don't want to be walking in the dark.
Right.
And then we take the dead front off the electrical panel. That is the part that covers the circuit breakers.
Hmm.
And
And why do
we
you
look,
do that?
well, there's all kinds of things that can happen in an electrical panel. We've got uh, wires that could be double tapped. So one breaker going to multiple circuits, and that's really not allowed. We could have, well, I think it was 2 days ago, I was looking at a sub panel and I had the dead front off, and there was a 15 amp breaker, and it had a wire nut to two other circuits, and that's not really allowed in a panel. So what I advise them to do is get another circuit breaker in there, a simple fix for them actually.
That's good. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
and there
I
are
bet
a
you.
lot of things with this that with this inspection that you can take care of yourself. You know, it's like if there's a crack in a cover plate of on a light switch, I'm going to report that. It's it's probably it's probably not a big problem, but if it's on the report and it's $1 to fix, just take the old plate off, put a new one on,
Yeah.
easy peasy, you're done.
Right. And so you are actually, thank you for mentioning this. Coming back, I mentioned I was going to circle back to a good reason why I have my selling clients, my sellers get a home inspection because of exactly what you're talking about right there. When you're going to go and sell a home, if you will go ahead and get a home inspection done on your home, it adds that transparency factor. But then also, you know what would be getting called out so that you can get ahead of it. If there's some easy fixes, you want to get those fixed while it's inexpensive. Because sometimes, depending on who you might be selling to, it may not pass an appraisal if there's an appraisal that needs to be passed, and they might call it out, and that could be an expensive fix, especially if it's called out for a professional fix when it was something all you had to do was simply fix. But also that gives you peace of mind as the seller of knowing what's really there with your home. Is there anything that's wrong? And that way you know, so that you aren't caught by surprise on something you had no idea that was going sideways with your home. So it's a big deal for both buyers and sellers. And Tim, I know in the wintertime, it often is a slower time of the year for us in real estate. And your business and my business, we all work together, right? We are all part of the whole real estate industry, if you will. And even though it's slow and some people don't want to buy or some people don't want to sell in the winter, why is it a good time to buy or sell in the winter when it comes to home inspections?
Well, like I said, the water entry is the worst thing that can happen to a home. And sometimes you can see things in the winter that you can't otherwise see. When
Yeah.
it's all bright and sunny, everything's nice. You get a little bit of rain, well, you want to know if it's getting in inappropriate places. You want to know if a gutter is dumping water by your foundation.
Yeah.
You should have a splash block that moves it away from your foundation 5 feet. Now, a lot of older homes don't have that at all. It was not even a consideration then. But over the years, that foundation may be damaged.
True. True. So that's why you should still be buying and selling, even in the winter time. And no matter what, always make sure you get a home inspection. Well, Tim, I want to thank you for being on Let's Talk Shop and sharing all these great reasons for getting a home inspection. And I hope to have you back again soon.
It was my pleasure, Mickey. It was a really good time. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks, everybody. And if you'd like to reach out to Tim, you could see his phone number right there. It's 916-407-1158. You can reach out to him for more questions or if you are looking for services. And you can also pop questions in the comments and we will get back to you ASAP. So thanks so much, everybody. And we'll see you next time on Let's Talk Shop. Bye,
That's
everyone.
also a number you can text.
All right. That's right. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thanks, Mickey. Bye-bye.